The message came at 11:47 p.m., a time when nothing good ever arrives. I was half asleep, the TV murmuring some late-night rerun, when my phone buzzed on the coffee table. I almost ignored it, thinking it was another notification from the wedding planners app, but the preview stopped me cold. "She's having second thoughts. You should do something." It was from Mia, the maid of honor, my fiancé's best friend. For a few seconds I just stared at the screen trying to make sense of it. The words pulsed against the dark background, and my heart started pounding, heavy and uneven. Second thoughts. About what? The wedding. Me. I sat up, my pulse thudding in my ears. I texted back. "What do you mean? Second thoughts about what?" 3 dots appeared, blinked, vanished. Then nothing. The silence stretched, unbearable. I felt a strange chill crawl up my spine as I stared at my reflection in the black TV screen. My own face, confused and slightly terrified. I'd thought Emma and I were fine. Busy maybe. Stressed from planning. Fine. Still, a memory flashed. The way she'd avoided my eyes at dinner last night when I asked if she was excited for the big day. How she'd just smiled faintly and said, "Yeah, of course." The tone had been off. I'd noticed it then but brushed it aside. Now it clawed back at me. I called Mia, my thumb trembling against the phone. She didn't answer. After the 3rd try, I sent a voice note trying to sound calm. "Mia, it's Ryan. What's going on? Please don't just drop something like that and disappear. Call me back." I set the phone down, but I couldn't sit still. My apartment suddenly felt too quiet, too small. The clock ticked loudly on the wall, each second pressing harder against my chest. I thought about driving to Emma's place. We hadn't spent the night together in weeks. She'd said it was bad luck before the wedding. I'd laughed at the superstition then, but now it just felt like a convenient excuse. When the phone finally buzzed, I grabbed it instantly. Mia's message was short. "Just check on her. Tonight." That was it. I didn't even think. I grabbed my jacket and keys, leaving the apartment light on behind me. It was raining, light, cold drizzle that blurred the streetlights into ghostly halos. My tires hissed against the wet road as I drove across town. Every red light felt unbearable. Emma's house came into view, warm and glowing from inside. I parked down the street, heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. The curtains were drawn, but there was movement, shadows crossing near the living room window. I told myself it could be anything. Maybe her sister visiting. Maybe she was just up late talking to Mia. But then I saw it, 2 silhouettes. One taller. One unmistakably Emma's. For a long minute I just sat there, gripping the steering wheel. My fingers were so tight the leather creaked. I tried to breathe, but it came out shallow, uneven. Finally I stepped out. My shoes splashed in the puddles as I walked toward the house. The closer I got, the more I could hear, soft laughter. A man's voice. It didn't sound like mine. The world seemed to narrow to a tunnel. My body moved on its own. I reached the door and hesitated, hand trembling over the handle. Then quietly I turned it. Unlocked. Inside, the air was warm, scented faintly with vanilla candles. I heard the low hum of music playing somewhere in the background. Then, from the living room, Emma's voice. Soft, familiar, intimate. I stepped around the corner. She was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, her head resting on someone's shoulder. The man turned first, startled. Mark. Her coworker. The one she'd told me not to worry about. For a second, none of us moved. The only sound was the rain against the window. Emma's face went pale and she shot up, the blanket falling away. "Ryan, wait, it's not what it looks like." I laughed. Came out raw, disbelieving. "You actually said that. You really just said that." Mark stood up, his hands half raised, like he wasn't sure whether to apologize or defend himself. "Ryan, man, look, it's not." "Shut up," I snapped. My voice cracked halfway through, and I hated how broken it sounded. Emma reached for me. "Please just let me explain. I didn't mean for." "For what?" "Cut in. For me to find out. Or for it to happen." Her eyes glistened, and for a split second, I saw the same woman I'd fallen in love with. The one who used to laugh in the kitchen while cooking with me. Who'd cried when I proposed because she said she couldn't believe I wanted her forever. Now, I couldn't even look at her without feeling sick. Mark mumbled something about leaving, but I barely heard him. The door closed behind him, and the silence that followed was unbearable. Emma sat down slowly, her hands shaking. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered. "It was just... everything got so stressful and you were so distant and..." I barked out a laugh. "So you cheated because I was stressed?" Tears slid down her cheeks, but I couldn't feel anything anymore. No anger. No sadness. Just this strange, empty numbness spreading through my chest. She kept talking, her words tumbling over themselves. Excuses, confessions, fragments of guilt. I only caught pieces. It didn't mean anything. I thought maybe I was scared. I didn't want to hurt you. I stood there, watching her unravel, realizing that somewhere along the way, I'd stopped listening. I was only waiting for her to stop talking. When she finally went quiet, I said, "You could have told me you weren't sure. You could have walked away before this." "I know," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." "Yeah," I said softly. "Me too." I turned to leave, but she grabbed my arm. Her touch burned. "Ryan, please. Don't tell anyone." "Not yet. I need time to fix this." Pulled away. "Mia already knows." Her face crumpled. "Mia told you?" He nodded. "She said you were having second thoughts." Emma closed her eyes, shaking her head. She wasn't supposed to say anything. The words hit me harder than I expected. She hadn't been trying to confess. She'd been hiding, even from the people closest to her. When I walked out into the rain, I didn't look back. In the car, I sat for a long time, watching the droplets chase each other down the windshield. The streetlights blurred into gold streaks through my tears, and I realized something terrible. What hurt most wasn't the cheating. It was that I still loved her. Mia called as I drove away. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Ryan, did you go?" she asked softly. "Yeah, was." "I'm sorry," she said. "I tried to get her to tell you herself." I swallowed hard, my throat aching. "How long did you know?" "Long enough," she whispered. The call ended, and I was left alone with the sound of the wipers and my own uneven breathing. By the time I reached my apartment, the sun was beginning to rise, a pale, cold light stretching over the city. I sat there until it filled the car, feeling something inside me quietly fall apart. And just like that, everything that was supposed to be the start of my forever turned into the end of something I thought could never break.